Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
Yes, can you log into the console? Let's create another clientele for the implicit. Actually, because previously we have created the clientele for the authorization underscore grant type, right? Let's create for the implicit. Will it be stored? It will get stored actually. That's not a problem. You can hear client underscore implicit actually. Name also, we can use the same thing. Description also the same. Here we cannot use the client secret. Client secret will be like none only. Then you can use the redirect underscore URI. You can put the same redirect URL. A tips colon double slash or a googly coin. You can bypass this one actually. Because we already saw this one, right? We don't need to go for this one. Now you can restrict the scope as open. ID also actually. Not that one. Restrict the scope in the top above grant type. You can put the open ID. Now can you choose the implicit date? No in the top right. We need to choose the grant type. Implicit and then scroll down and click on save. That's all. Open ID. Also, it's the same thing. We already created the same, right? Save it. This is how we can able to configure the implicit grant type actually. It's a simple one. Now, can you go back? Now you already have that. Can you copy this and put it there in the as implicit grant type, right? This one. Paste it. Now here change the client underscore ID to implicit the response type. Previously we were using the code, right? Because output of that particular response. It's like a token. It's a code. That's why we are using the code. Now the output of this AP, I call it, will be the token, right? That's why we are using the response underscore type as token. Then scope is called open ID. We can use the same redirect URL. But we have included both open ID and profile. Sorry? That's fine. That's not a no. Oh, you included both of them. I didn't see that one space email. You need to give space email. After that ampersand. Copy this and put it there it should be percentage point there, right? No, it will automatically put the percentage in when you are putting in the browser. This is like you are putting it in the browser, right? This is a get method actually. You are using it over the browser. No network tracing, no. Nothing is there. It will directly show the token. Oh, client underscore implicit ordered. Which one actually? Can you go back? Is there any issue there in the client secret there? Can you copy and paste it? This one. Is there any spelling mistake or something? That's weird. Is there any space? No, right? Let me try now. No, there's a space. Now it will work. Even here the system. Oh, each and every line there's a space. That's why it is giving an issue actually. Enter. Type in your ID and password and then the MFP authentication will come. Then the token. The same thing you can able to use that. Sorry, ping 3. I thought the PingDirectory services was not started actually. This MFA, we are using the MFA. That's fine. Is that? Now you got the token right. Can you copy the token and put it there in the notified list field? The token right. This is how you can able to use the implicit grant actually. If you want, you can also use that token to validate it, right? By using the by using that particular user input. It's taking a lot of time too. Can you just, where is that introspect endpoint? The last one, right? No, not that one. That is valid, right? Well, I'll date in that is for the authorization code grant. You cannot use that one, right? Because it has been using the different client ID action. I don't know. Introspect also will work on that actually because we are not using the client secret right here. Let's test it. Can you change the client ID? No, I think implicit I in caps or something. Not in caps. Because it is not. We are not using the client secret, right? How do we validate it? By using the user input on OpenID, or you can use the UCAN. We can create another client ID. That is having access token validation, right? For this one. And then we can use that one access to them. I don't know, because validation grant you require the client secret, right? You need to create a client secret for validation. But since we are using the implicit, right? Implicit does not require the client secret, right? It will give an issue. Actually, it's better to create another client. ID add client. And then create client underscore validation like that. I create another one actually. If you enable this, it will give error when we have the secret. Yes, it like. And auto PC also. Sorry, a refresh token also will give an error actually. It's better to give the client ID as a different one and then give the client underscore validation or validation underscore client. Give the client secret here. This one does not require anything. Just only the client ID client secret and then the access token validation as a grant type. Test 1, 3. Scroll down. Scroll down. Choose the grant type as access token validation. That's all. Scroll down and save it. What is the token manager you have used? Access token 1, right? Scroll down and then choose the same OIDC policy. Because there are two OIDC, right? It will give we need to use the exact one actually. Even for validation grant, we need the OIDC policy. No, you are, which for that client ID, which generates a token, right? That client ID is using the same token manager, right? We need to give the same thing. If you are giving the different one, right, It won't validate properly actually. Now if you can go back to that, I think you already got the token. No, wait. No, you need to put it there in the different one. Actually, right? You need to. You already created the copy. Click on the copied one. Click on that copied one. No, I think there is a duplicate already there actually. But this content. No. The same content, only we are going to use it actually. Only the client ID client secret. We are going to change it. And then the token detail. That's all. Client underscore validation. Client secret is the same thing. Grant type is the same thing. You just have to paste it, send it. That's all. Now, this is all you can also see in the bottom right which client ID created this particular token actually right. The client ID client underscore implicit is the one which creates the client ID here actually. Client underscore implicit which creates this particular access token actually. This is how we can able to validate the implicit grant type token. And you can also use the same thing as the user info. That's not at all a problem actually. And then the next one is the client credentials granted. Client credentials granted. The testing rate, it's a straightforward testing only. It does not require any kind of a user authentication, right? Only client ID client secret and then grant underscore type is equal to client underscore credentials. Actually, there is no difference on actually client ID client secret and then grant type is equal to client credentials. Actually, here I think we created one more token, right? That is the internally managed reference. Let's do that one actually. That was actually partially done. Oh, we didn't do that one. This is. I've just created the OEDC policy alone. We just created the AT and then we left as it is. Oh, then that's fine. That's not required. The user authentication, right? Because client credentials does not have any kind of a user authentication, right? No for reference token. For reference token. Oh, for reference token only, we generated the token manager, right? Token manager ODC and access token mapping. Oh, then that's enough actually. That's all. I think for everyone we have things the same thing, right? We are using the same one, right? We can use the same thing. That's fine. But can we generate the reference token? We can generate it. Can you go back to the client ID? It's already there now. For the internal manager of reference token actually. Maybe for here can we try? For which one actually you are asking? I think for the authorization code, can we try the reference token? We can try it. That's not at all a problem. You just have to change it there, even from. You just have to change it with the client ID just with the auth client. In the client ID, we need to change it actually. Before implicit payment only. You configured it in the policy content also, right? Save it, scroll down and save it. Policy contact is the common one, right? That's all. Access token mappings. Access token mappings actually. Applications access token mappings. I just want to check. Oh, it's already there, man. That's fine. That's good actually. The same thing which we did right. This is enough. That's fine. We can do it. Can you go back to that? Can you try the same thing? Implicit right. You already saved it. That is a space, right? Can you try it now? It will go to the same author. Now you can able to see the token there, right? It's a different token actually. This is how we can able to use the internally managed reference token also. It's the same thing. Only difference in that. Previously it was the file. It will be like, the length of the token will be different actually. Internally managed reference token, it will be like 28 characters actually. Let's go to the token. Now let's go to the client credentials grant type. That is the client underscore credential that we can maybe create a client ID called client underscore CC like that because the short form, right? It's CC, right? Client secret is mandatory for this one. Here you can see that it's mandatory for this one. You can also validate it. Read active and not required. Scope not required. Only client credentials and access token validation. And if you want, you can choose the token 1 or token 2. Anything you want actually. You can put it and then IDC policy not required actually, because that's not required. The OpenID, right? For this one, save it. Why it is not required OpenID? Not required actually. Because, even though if you choose it right, it will be obsolete actually. No use because there is no user authentication, right? OIDC is for the user authentication only, right? It does not have the user authentication. That is not a command of OIDC, right? Even though, if you enable it, it will be like, it will be obsolete. No use for the client credentials grant type actually. But authentication is done by the adapter, right? But what is the no? No, it's not there actually, right? Again, there is nothing required actually for this one. OIDC, there is OIDC is required only for like enabling the authentication. That means triggering the adapter for the OIDC. And then to validate the token by using the user info PIN. These two things will happen only if you are using the user authentication. If you does not have the user authentication, that is not a command for configuring the OIDC, right? This is the trigger point for the adapter in the OAuth client exactly. And also it is also used for to manage the scopes also, right? And then you can also like validate the client ID. That means, validate the client token based on the user info PIN. Save it now. If you can go back to that, it's simple. We can put it there itself. Can you click on that token, right? Duplicate that one and then change the client ID client secret. We don't require the scope and all. Remove the scope, remove the redirect. You already removed the code. Only 3 things. Client ID, true client secret grant type, client underscore credentials. And then client ID is client underscore CC. Send it. That's all. Simply you got the token actually. You can also do the same thing, validate the token also, actually. You got the user details right. Now you won't get the user details actually. There is a difference. The second one. Paste it, send it, that's all. It's pretty much simple. If you could see, nothing is there because there is no user endpoint. Actually, there is no user authentication, right? We are passing only the token value. We are passing it. The token value does not have anything, just only who created the token. And then the validation of the expiration in this particular token. Actually token. I mean, that is the ID, right? That is the issuance. Like when it is issued the access token. Actually the time is 10, 20 or something, right? That is the time. But why do you think this attribute is coming as empty? Because we never enable the scope, right? We are not passing anything scroll, or we don't have anything, right? It is going as empty, right? Here if you pass no. No, it's not a mandatory one actually. The validation, right? It will expand the value scope. It will. Every time the parameters, these are all parameters for access token validation actually. If you're passing some scope, it will be there. If you're not passing any scope, it will go as empty. That's all. The thing is that these are the parameters of the access token, scope, token underscore type expires in, and client underscore ID. These are the parameters for access token validation grant type actually. This parameter is mandatory. It will send when you are validating any kind of a token actually. If you're not using any kind of a scope in the token generation, right, then it will go as an empty actually. Can we customize it instead of, this token? No, actually. This is if you know Java coding and all, you can customize it in the total product itself. Actually, this is like a product specific, right? It's like, it's not like, they are not pink for it. Also don't have the capability actually. This is by the organization who introduced the auth configuration actually, right? The person, the IT auth organization, they have enabled the SAMA, right? Similarly, I think the same organization will also enable the auth actually. They generated the access token validation. They generated the grant type authorization code. Grant type actually. Grant type or implicit, alright. We need to contact to them to change these things actually. These are all we cannot. These are all, it's the same thing when you are using different tools, right? It's the same kind of a configuration. We cannot change this kind of stuff actually. Now the next thing is that is known as the ROPC method. Actually, ROPC is like a straightforward again. We already configured a PCV to the access token, right? That's fine. We can directly create the client underscore. ID is equal to client ID, right? Client underscore ROPC like that. It's already configured and that's fine. Give the client secret. Why are you giving the client secret? To make the ROPC a little bit more secure. Actually, because till now, the thing is that this particular ROPC is not that much good, right? Please use the data active array also. You can use the access token validation. You can use the refresh token also, actually. For ROPC, we need the callback request. Yes, we need the redirect URL actually. Where we are going to redirect, right? Only the getting the user details. They are not using anything else actually. They are just getting the user details basically. This is the page where they're actually managing it with the getting the user information from the users. Correct? Yes, exactly. No, this is no, that is different. The page which you're giving redirect to already after authentication, we are redirecting to some URL, right? That URL actually. This should not be the dashboard. This should be the dashboard you want, right? Yes, Lee. Should we enable validation here? We can use the same thing. That's fine. Here we need the OA recently. No. Which token manager you are using it actually? Token manager 1, right? Oh, no. What is the token manager? We are mapping it with the PCV. Is it 1 or 2 actually? Can it go? I think it should be. It should be 1, I guess. 1 means we need to use the same thing actually. It's 1 only. Can you go back to the post pan and then let's do it. Let's create the same thing, token AP only. No, it's valid, it actually. You can keep the validation also. That's fine. That is fine. We can keep the validation also. Anyways, that's not a problem. You can give the same thing. If you want to read out your scope, you can use the same thing actually. If you're not using the scope, that's fine. Grant text. It's a password actually. Client credentials. This one is password. Why we are using the password? Because the syntax, like resource owner password credentials, it's too large, right? They are using the syntax as password actually. Now, this is fine. Read out here is fine. Now the thing is that they will get the username and password. They are going to pass it in this particular API connection. Put the username, your username unity tree, right? Yes, and then the password. You can use it in a plain text format. Send it. If you could see the access token got generated actually. This is how you can able to generate that token. If you are sending the wrong password, it will throw an error actually. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.